See You Now is a podcast highlighting the innovative and human-centered solutions that nurses are coming up with to solve for today's most challenging healthcare problems. Created in collaboration with Johnson & Johnson and the American Nurses Association and hosted by nurse economist and health tech specialist, Shauna Butler.
I'm Shauna Butler, and this is See You Now. Welcome to our new feature, The Moment of Awareness. Stories of problem finders and solution seekers, of inventors, hackers, wave makers, path breakers, innovators, and entrepreneurs. Stories that capture the moments of concern and empathy, outrage, distress, frustration, wonder and triumph, and the journey of problem-solving, invention, trial and error, of convincing conviction and creativity. So let's get started. Necessity is often cited as the mother of invention, and nurses who've been part of the inventing process share that exasperation, empathy, and determination are also members of the family. When caring for patients in an interventional radiology lab and witnessing the look of exasperation on a patient's face while struggling to secure a fluid-filled leg bag, nurse and inventor Brian Mohika was inspired to create smart, active living underwear designed to secure the catheters and fluid collection leg bags that people living with externally placed catheters manage on a daily basis. He knew that people needed a solution that was practical, comfortable, washable, discreet, and liberating. In this moment of awareness, Brian shares his invention story and the motivation and audacity required to bring his product vision to life and to build an international company that Brian states is about more than just selling a medical product. It's about improving lives and returning people to actively living theirs.
I started off on this journey based on a vision and a lot of courage. My name is Brian Mohika. I am the CEO and inventor of Cathware. I'm also a registered nurse. I am from Lawrence, Massachusetts. It's about 25 miles north of the city of Boston. My parents are immigrants from the Dominican Republic. They came here very young, and they tried to provide for us the best life that they could. Their work ethic, their survival ethic has certainly transferred over to me. The no-quit mentality has certainly transferred over to me. After high school, I went into the United States Air Force. I really enjoy my time in the military because it's very detail-oriented, especially in the Air Force. And that's what I believe helped me innovate. My ability to follow through through rejection, follow through personal struggles in my life. That came through my time in the military. That teaches you to always persevere, to always find a way, to always push ahead. And that's almost in line with what nurses think as well, and what nurses do as well. So all of the things that had gone on in my life essentially gelled all together at this inventing process. I was in my first year of nursing school when I had the vision for Cathware. What pushed me to go into nursing school is that as an X-ray tech, I noticed that it was a service-based relationship. So the patients would come in, for example, in diagnostic X-ray, I would take their X-ray and then they would leave. When I started working in interventional radiology alongside of the nurses, I had a firsthand view at what the nurses were doing and what I wasn't doing. And it was a stark contrast. The nurses were spending time with the patient. They were getting to know the family. They were in the patient's medical records. They knew the patient's medical history in its entirety, all of their medications, their diet. That's the significance of being a nurse. We see things that other people may not see. We will know if something is practical for patient care, proper for patient care, and safe for patient care. I yearned to have that. I wanted to impact healthcare at its highest level. And I believe that the best way to do that is through nursing. The reason why I was able to invent Cathware is because I was already in inventor's mode. Our son was 2 months old and his nasal passage was significantly blocked. We thought that he was going to die. We thought he was going to die in his sleep, and we had some really, really rough nights. Nothing worked. We went on like that for some time. I went into the operating room and I grabbed some suction tubing off of the wall and also a yank hour. I took it home and I cut the tubing really long. Now, a yank hour is like a suction device, like when you go to the dentist. At the end of the yank hour, there's a bulb, so it doesn't go inside of the baby's nose. And so I would pinch one side of his nose, place the yank hour on one side, and I would suck it out. And he slept like a baby, pun intended. That was an invention. That was my first invention. And I made the biggest mistake that you can make when you are in the inventing process or the innovation process. I started asking people in my life, what do you think? And it does this, and it slices, and it dices. I showed it to his pediatrician, and that was where the greatest discouragement came. We went to his next doctor's appointment. I brought it in, and I started explaining to her how it is that it works. She started saying, oh, it's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars to invent the product, and you have to go through the FDA, and the FDA is never going to approve it. It's going to be nearly impossible to get it patented, and patent processes, they take so long, and you don't want to invest that much time into it. You're better off just using it now for your son. I was so discouraged. Failure is a beautiful thing because it's the greatest motivator. A year later, one of the people that told me that it was a stupid invention saw it on the shelves. Somebody else invented it, and they sent me a picture of it. I have that picture in my phone, and I look at that anytime I'm feeling a little delayed, or I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling discouraged. And that's what motivated me to never quit once I had the idea for my second invention, which was Cathware. I was working in the operating room, preparing the room for a procedure, which was a nephrostomy tube exchange, or a tube that comes out of the kidney. When I walked into the room, I saw the patient in the room in his underwear, and he had the leg bag around his thigh. There was something that the patient did when I came into the room. He looked at me and kind of threw his hands in the air as he looked down at the bag, almost like in grief, as if saying, this is stuck to me. And I felt like somebody needed to do something. That's where I started. I went home, drew a picture of it head on. I drew a picture of it at a 45-degree angle, and then I drew a picture of it at a 90-degree angle. And each time talked about what each feature was going to do. That's a key moment during the inventing process, because as you're writing it out and you're explaining it, you're hearing it in your own mind and you're speaking it aloud, and you're almost saying like, oh, that may not work, so let me do this and let me do that. Once I came up with the drawings, I purchased long underwear, the material to make the pouches, catheter channel track, and the Velcro and the elastic. And my stepmother was making us samples at our kitchen table for 2 years that we would give to patients. And then as we would get feedback from those patients, we would make the modifications to the point to where it is right now. Cathware is a medical underwear designed specifically for patients that require the use of leg bags. It removes the use of the straps. It has 2 pouches on the thighs where a maximum size of 600 cc and below fit into each thigh. At the end of the pocket, there's an opening for the valve. So the patient now, if they're wearing shorts, a skirt, or a dress, they can easily empty the contents without having to remove the bag out of the pocket. I wanted to create something that would keep it close and concealed to the patient to improve the patient's quality of life. That's what Cathware is. It's a product that improves the patient's quality of life when they're wearing a leg bag. We made it affordable, washable, extremely durable, and very innovative. And that's when I knew that we were going to be successful. When I started Cathware, my personal goal was that Cathware impact other people to invent other products. My guide is very simple. If you don't invent that product, somebody else is going to invent it. Somebody else is going to have that vision. Someone else is not going to quit. It is overwhelming. And it's not easy to balance work and life and, because you're working until you're fully working for your company. And it's not easy. Once you see innovation, once you see a medical device that can impact the patient's life, you can't unsee it. We're the ones that are developing the workarounds. We're the ones that have that intimate relationship with the patient. We have to say, I have a solution for you, because our role is to bring the patient the latest innovations. When the patient shuts the door to their home and they're laying in bed, that's where a nurse is most valuable.
Nurse Brian Mohika is the inventor and CEO of Cathware, makers of the undergarment system that discreetly secures and houses external catheters and drainage collection leg bags. The fans, family, friends, and wearers of this invention will attest that Cathware is more than medical underwear. It is the confidence that allows them to return to the beach, go on a date, play ball with grandkids, and do all of those things that can be awkward and make you self-conscious if you do wear a leg bag. An expanded version of his story, From Inspiration to Invention, is told in his book, Let It Flow, One Nurse's Entrepreneurial Journey. Check out this episode and find out more about See You Now and listen to our entire library at seeyounowpodcast.com. You've been listening to a snapshot of nurses as inventors on See You Now's The Moment of Awareness. Email your moments of awareness, inventions, thoughts, and suggestions to hello@seeyounowpodcast.com. We can't wait to hear from you. I'm Shauna Butler. Thanks for listening.
Johnson & Johnson is proud to power up nurse-led innovation that is transforming health outcomes through skill building, leadership development, and more. The American Nurses Association ignites and celebrates nurse-led innovation to redefine quality nursing and advance healthcare for all. Learn more at seeyounowpodcast.com.